Hi everybody, Nathan Ronen, CFA here with another update. Question today is, and this is applicable to all Level 1, Level 2, and Level 3 candidates, or people going through the CFA journey. Nathan, I'd like to complete the CFA program and get my charter in 1.5 to 2 years. Is that possible, and how do I do that? Okay. If you're interested in continuing to listen to this update, or to continue to receive our updates that come out on a bi-weekly or weekly basis, press the subscribe button now and the confirmation button so that you can continue to receive them as we post them. It's a question that I get very often, especially from people that are starting out in their CFA journey or are registered for the CFA 1 exam or are looking to register for the Level 1 exam. They say, Nathan, I heard I can complete the CFA program and get the charter in 1.5 or 2 years. Is that true? Is that possible? Can I do that with your products? How do you recommend doing it? I think it's a very interesting question because when somebody kind of asks me that, from my standpoint, first of all, let me just give you my opinion. I think you're sort of like not truly interested in finance. You're not really interested in the CFA program. You're being very academic and you're trying to get like a little gold star the minute you finish something, like, look, mommy, all A's, but you don't want to learn anything. That's generally the kind of person that's asking about finishing the program in 1.5 or 2 years. They're not truly interested in the program. They're not truly interested in the learning process. They're not looking to get something out of the program. They just want to put the letters CFA after their name. I mean, we're all motivated and driven by different things, but from my standpoint as a prep provider, as a charter holder, I don't want to see the value of the designation diminish. And if more people have that kind of thought process that let me rush through the program as quickly as possible, I don't think that that's boding very well for the person themselves, what they're going to learn in the future, what they can apply in the future, and for the CFA program if more people are going to approach the exam in that way. But okay, let's back up and answer that question. Is it possible to do it in 1.5, 2 years? Yes, it is. Is it likely that you will? Probably not. Why is it that you likely will not? Because most candidates, not all candidates, but most candidates will eventually along the path, Level 1, Level 2, or Level 3, probably retake one of the exams because they don't pass it. Because if you look at the pass rates of about 38 to 40% at Level 1, 48 to 52% at Level 2, and around 50% at Level 3, your chances of passing each exam on the first try is not really in your favor. But that doesn't mean you can't. But let's talk about for a second how you would have to position yourself to make this happen and then why you really shouldn't worry about it. First of all, the CFA Institute posts on its website and on its social media what are the exam cycles or the exam dates for the Level 1, Level 2, and Level 3 program. You should all know, and you can look at their website to see it, but I'm going to put a sort of like quick synopsis of it. Level 1 is administered 4 times a year: February, May, August, and November. Level 2 is offered 3 times a year: May, August, and November. And Level 3 is only offered twice a year: February and August. So if you want, you could put those dates down, those months down, and then take a look at it. Technically, if you're taking the Level 1 exam, I would recommend taking it in February or May of a particular year. If you take it in February and you don't pass the exam, you can still retake the exam in either August or November, because you need to have about 6 months between exam cycles. So if you're a February student, you could only retake it in August or November. You could not retake it in May. Or you could take the exam for the first time in May, and if you don't pass, you can retake it in November, because again, you need a 6-month window between exam cycles. Now, if you decide to take the exam for the first time in August or November, then you can only take it 1 time. And again, I'm talking about the Level 1 exam. You can only take it 1 time in that year. And if you don't pass, you'll have to retake it the following year. Level 2, you can only take probably, even though there's 3 exam cycles, you can only take it twice, the most. You could take it in May. And if you don't pass it in May, you can retake it in November. But if you take it for the first time in August, you cannot retake it in November, and you'll have to wait until May the following year. Now with Level 3, if you take it in February and you fail, you can retake it in August. But if you take it for the first time in August or even retake it in August and don't pass, then you must wait for a new exam cycle, new year, the following year in February. Okay, so that's how it works. You got to have a 6-month gap between any two exams that you take in terms of exam cycles, not when you get your results, but when you took the exam. So if you took it in February, you can retake it only in August or November, that kind of thing. So keep that in mind, 6-month gap. Now, technically what you'd have to do in order to make this work is and get the whole CFA charter and the initials and your proudness and everything all into place in a 1.5 to 2 years, you'd have to take the level 1 exam in February, okay? Pass it in February, then take the level 2 exam in August or November of that same year and pass it, and then take level 3 in either February or August of the following year and pass it. That way, it could all be done in a 1.5 or 2 years. Now, that is not only very ambitious, it's also putting yourself under a lot of unnecessary pressure. Because the reality is, you could study 800, 900, 1,000 hours and not pass the CFA exam that you're taking. You could also study only 200 or 250 hours and pass. It all depends on the questions that are asked, your comfort zone with the questions that are asked, how well you prepared for the exam. But quantity of hours doesn't necessarily translate into passing. And that's a frustrating point for many candidates. But that's a subject for another video. So what I'm answering here for you basically is it possible to take and complete the CFA program in a 1.5, 2 years? Yes. Is it advisable? No. Why? Because there's a high likelihood that at some point you are going to wreck the train there, and you might fail one of the exams on your exam date and have to retake it, and then you'll probably end up with a 2.5 or 3 year program like most candidates. So don't rush it. Enjoy the process. Sometimes there's really something to enjoying a process. It's not all about pass. Well, yeah, it is about passing. You want to pass, but it's not all about how fast you can do it. And let me give you a very good hint. No employer, no interviewer, nobody, even after you get your charter, will ever say, did you do it in a 1.5? Did you pass all of your exams on the first try? It might be a little talking point, but it's not going to be a point for whether you get hired or not. So stop worrying about, a process you really can't control. Sign up for the exam date that makes most sense for you. Study appropriately for it. Work with me. Have a good study plan, a very structured format that is going to help you to pass, because my pass rates are very strong at each of the 3 levels. And I will help you get through level 1, level 2, and level 3 on your first try. We may not be able to do it in a 1.5, but who's really counting? If you do it in 2 years or 2.5 years, it's good enough. Nobody cares. And it's just an ego thing. So again, my name is Nathan Ronen, and if you have any questions, take a look at my website, chalkandboard.org. That's CHALK and AND, board, BOARD. That's chalkandboard.org. You can send me an email on my website, or my phone number is there as well, and you can text me a message, and I'm happy to help you out. But again, enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, let us help you, and don't make this very taxing on yourself like many people do, and be part of the 20% that actually get the charter. Thank you, and have a great day.